In 1742, road workers in a quiet English market town broke through the ground and fell into a chamber no one knew existed. The walls were covered in carved crosses, symbols, and human figures. The room was perfectly sealed. No entrance, no record. Not a single document in any archive mentioned it, and it had been sitting there in total darkness for centuries. That chamber is still open to visitors today, and historians still can't tell you who built it, why they chose that exact spot beneath a busy medieval market square, or what those carvings were meant to say. Here's what gets me. That chamber isn't even close to the strangest thing hiding beneath Britain. There are thousands of tunnels, vaults, and sealed chambers under this island, some stretching for miles, some built by peoples whose names we don't know, in eras so old that even the Romans found them ancient. Tonight we're going down. If buried history, lost civilizations, and the secrets the earth keeps better than any human, if that's your thing, hit subscribe right now. This channel is built for exactly that curiosity. Drop a comment telling me where in the world you're watching from tonight. I read every single one. Now let's go underground. To understand what lies beneath Britain, you have to start not in the medieval period, not even with the Romans, but in the deep past. So deep that the people who first cut into this island's earth left no written language, no named kings, no documented civilization at all. What they left was the earth itself, still carrying the marks of their tools 4,000 years later. In Norfolk, there's a place called Grimes Graves. When the Normans stumbled across the strange circular depressions covering several acres of heath in the 11th century, they assumed the devil made them. They were wrong, but only in the way people are wrong when they underestimate what human beings will do to get what they need. Grimes Graves is a Neolithic flint mine, dug roughly 4,500 years ago. Flint was the steel of that era. It made tools, tipped arrows, worked leather. Surface flint was brittle, but the flint sealed deep in the chalk was worth almost any effort to reach. Archaeologists have identified over 400 individual mine shafts here, each dug by hand with picks made from red deer antler, sinking 8 or 10 meters through solid chalk before the good seam was reached. Workers then carved horizontal galleries outward in every direction, following the flint like spokes of a wheel. The site ran continuously for perhaps 500 years. In one shaft, excavators found a small chalk figurine of a woman, carefully placed in a niche beside a chalk lamp and a deliberate arrangement of flint. Someone put her there when the mine closed. She stayed in that niche, in the dark, for 4,000 years. Down here, the practical and the sacred were never separate things. They were the same thing. Further north, across Scotland and Cornwall, a different kind of structure tells a different story. The souterrains, stone-lined subterranean chambers, accessed through passages so low you have to crouch to enter. They were probably used for cold storage, but many are far too large for any realistic storage need. Some have features, drainage channels, subsidiary chambers, carefully positioned niches that no storage function explains. At Skara Brae in Orkney, a settlement older than Stonehenge, underground passages connect the individual stone houses of the community. In those brutal Orcadian winters, that makes obvious sense. But the care and finish of those passages goes well beyond anything pure utility required. The people who built them understood something about underground space that we're still working out how to name. When Rome arrived in Britain in the 1st century, it brought the most sophisticated underground engineering the ancient world had ever seen. A civilization that built citywide sewers, heated floors, public baths, and aqueducts across an empire from Scotland to Syria wasn't going to leave British soil unexploited. And it didn't. The hypocausts, the underfloor heating system that distinguished any Roman building of ambition, is their most visible underground legacy. The principle is beautifully simple. Raise the floor on small tile columns, light a furnace at one end, and let warm air circulate through the void beneath, rising through wall channels to heat the room from below and from the sides. In a stone building in a northern climate, this wasn't a luxury, it was survival engineering. In London's financial district today, construction crews still regularly break into Roman levels containing hypocaust systems that are structurally intact. tile columns standing in rows in the cool underground air, as if waiting for someone to light the furnace again. The Romans also extracted from Britain on an industrial scale. Gold mines in Carmarthenshire used hydraulic sluicing systems of real complexity. Lead mines in Somerset's Mendip Hills were running within years of the Roman conquest, producing ingots that have turned up as far away as Pompeii. Beneath York, where Emperor Septimius Severus died in 211 CE, reports of Roman passages connecting significant points in the city center have persisted for centuries. Some have been found and traced, others haven't. In any city that's been continuously occupied for 2,000 years, untangling what's Roman from what's Saxon, Norman, and Victorian can take decades of careful analysis. The Romans are down there. The full picture of what they built is still unknown. Of every mysterious underground space in Britain, there is one that stands completely apart. It sits beneath the marketplace of a small Hertfordshire town, and it has resisted explanation for more than 250 years. Royston sits at the crossing of two roads that were already ancient when the Romans arrived. The prehistoric Icknield Way and Ermine Street, the Roman road running north from London. By the medieval period, it was an unremarkable market town. In 1742, workers excavating beneath a millstone at the market cross broke through into a void. They lowered a boy into the opening on a rope. He reported a chamber below. What they found was a circular room cut into solid chalk, roughly 5.5 meters across and 7.5 meters deep. The ceiling was domed, and every surface of every wall was covered in carvings. The carvings are extraordinary. Crosses, many different types of crosses. Figures that appear to be saints, some identifiable by traditional attributes. The wheel of St. Catherine, the arrows of St. Sebastian, a figure interpreted as the Holy Trinity, hearts, hands, geometric patterns, heraldic shields. The walls press in from every direction, and the overall feeling is of a space that was used intensively, over time, by people who understood it as sacred. The most dramatic theory is that Knights Templar made these carvings, the military religious order that had a preceptory at nearby Baldock and operated throughout England until their brutal suppression in the early 14th century. It's a compelling idea. Some crosses are of types associated with military orders. The atmosphere fits a private devotional chapel. The location at a crossroads makes it plausible as a stopping point between Templar houses. But no archaeologist or art historian has been able to confirm it. The carvings weren't all made at the same time, or by the same hand. And there is, to this day, not a single surviving document anywhere that mentions this chamber being built, used, or sealed. You can visit it. You can stand in that chalk room while the carved figures surround you. The silence is remarkable. Something happened here. Who did it and why remains genuinely unknown. Not all of Britain's underground mysteries involve anonymous builders. Some of the most compelling underground spaces in the country have thoroughly documented histories and remain mysterious anyway. In the Chiltern Hills, beneath a chalk hill in Buckinghamshire, Sir Francis Dashwood had workers carve a tunnel system roughly 1/3 of a mile long in the 1740s and 1750s. The official reason, employment for local men during agricultural hardship, with chalk spread on roads. That part is true, but the tunnel terminates in a chamber, deliberately called the Inner Temple, positioned directly beneath the chancel of the church above. Dashwood was a member of Parliament and Chancellor of the Exchequer. He was also one of the most theatrically provocative personalities of Georgian England. And the tunnels were built for the meetings of the Hellfire Club, whose membership included some of the most prominent politicians and writers of the age. What they actually did in those chalk chambers, the historical record preserves more in rumor than in fact. When the club ended in the early 1760s, the tunnels were sealed. When investigators reopened them in the 20th century, some sections were blocked in ways that didn't match the known plans. Air movement was detected in areas with no obvious ventilation. Whether undiscovered chambers lie behind those chalk fills remains officially unknown. 500 miles north, Edinburgh's South Bridge vaults, 18 arches buried within the bridge's structure almost immediately after its completion in 1788, were intended as shops and workshops. For about 30 years they were, And then the buildings above enclosed them. They grew damp. They became associated with the city's poorest people, and they were quietly forgotten. When rediscovered in the 1980s, they contained tools, bottles, fragments of clothing, and human remains. Physical evidence of 18th and 19th century Edinburgh life preserved in remarkable condition by the sealed underground environment. Nearby, Mary King's Close, a 17th century street sealed beneath an administrative building after the plague of 1645, preserves the atmosphere of a community that simply stopped one day and was never resumed. Edinburgh's underground is well touristed now. The passages detected by radar that haven't been excavated, the voids that haven't been mapped, that part is still open. Everything we've looked at so far has at least partial explanation. Now we get to the ones that don't. In Chislehurst, southeast London, there are 35 kilometers of chalk tunnels, long enough to stretch from central London well beyond its suburbs. They've housed 15,000 people during the Blitz, hosted rock concerts, and been walked by generations of investigators. Tradition divides them into three sections: Druid, Saxon, and Roman. Archaeologists have generally concluded that division isn't supported by evidence, and that a more limited period of medieval chalk quarrying is the likeliest explanation. But some sections of tunnel follow paths that make no sense as extraction routes. Some are finished to a smoothness no working quarry requires. The standard explanation doesn't quite fit. The alternatives don't fit either. Beneath Nottingham, built on soft red sandstone that cuts cleanly by hand, there are over 900 recorded caves and chambers. 900. That's only the recorded ones. Every significant construction project in Nottingham city centre carries a formal requirement for underground archaeological assessment, because breaking into a previously unknown cave isn't a theoretical risk. It's routine. Most of those caves are well understood: medieval cellars, tanneries, brewhouses, rock-cut dwellings. But within that catalog are outliers, caves with layouts that match no known domestic or industrial function, carvings that aren't decorative, features that suggest ritual use with no ritual context anyone can identify. In 2017, one ground-penetrating radar survey of a Wiltshire field revealed an underground passage network extending across several acres, with no surface trace and no documentary record. Excavation confirmed human construction, dated to the late Iron Age or early Roman period. The full extent hasn't been explored. In 1999, a Gloucester shopping development broke into a medieval undercroft connected to passages running beneath a significant portion of the city center. Connecting points with no documented underground relationship. The passages were sealed again beneath the new building. In 2014, engineers investigating a Norwich car park found chalk passages honeycombing the ground beneath it, with chambers whose physical evidence suggested uses that couldn't be determined from what remained. These aren't exceptional discoveries. They're representative of a pace of underground discovery that has been more or less continuous across Britain for as long as people have been digging foundations and pointing radar at the ground. The underground landscape of Britain is considerably richer than anything on the surface suggests, and the process of understanding it is nowhere near complete. We've covered a lot of ground tonight, and most of it underground. We walked the Neolithic mines of Norfolk, where someone left a chalk figure in the dark 4,000 years ago, and no one disturbed her for 4 millennia. We moved through Roman hypocausts beneath London's financial district, descended the narrow shaft at Royston, and stood among carvings no one can explain, walked the Hellfire tunnels of West Wycombe, the sealed vaults of Edinburgh, the chalk galleries of Chislehurst, and the 900 caves of Nottingham. All of that is still down there, beneath the sheep and the oak trees, the Norman churches, the Victorian terraces, the supermarket car parks. Patient in the chalk and the sandstone and the limestone, carrying the marks of hands whose owners we can't name, pointing toward destinations we haven't found yet. If you're in Britain tonight, you are not far from something underground that nobody has fully explained. That's not a frightening thought. It's one of the most satisfying thoughts available. If this is your kind of history, slow, careful, genuinely extraordinary. Subscribe now and stay close. Drop a comment below telling me where in the world you're watching from tonight. The earth is quiet above the passages. Whatever was sealed down there is still sealed. Sleep well.